I'm going to be making a mirror today using this mould from AliExpress, and you can buy these mirror pieces separately as well. So they're lovely and shiny. So I'm going to be using IntoResin, and I'm just going to be doing it plain because I want to decorate it afterwards using a serviette, and I think I'm going to use some watercolour paints as well. So I'll just get some IntoResin mixed up and then we can get started. I've mixed up some of the Let's Resin Magic Pour. It's a casting powder that's measured 3:1 by weight. And in this mould, there's a little lip under there. So I need to make sure I get it all under there. So I'm just going to pour it really slowly, just round the edge first. Just letting it flow naturally underneath that little lip there. There we go. And then I'm just going to top up all the rest with the magic pour. I'm not sure if I've made enough, so I might need to make up a bit more and then top it up. But you probably won't need to see me do that. So yeah, I do need to make up some more. So I'll do that and then I'll see you back for demold. This is all cured up now, so let's pop this one out. I'm going to have to be careful because of that lip. I don't want to break anything there. So let's just gently get this one out. So that's the little bit there. That's coming out okay. There we go. Let's just pop that mould back in the right way. So that's, oh, I got dirty fingers on there. That's okay. Not to worry because we're going to cover that up, but it's looking lovely. It's quite a hefty little lump there, and that would just stand up on its own. And then the mirror slots in there. Right, so I'm just going to leave this dry out overnight now, and then I'll see you back in a bit and we can decorate it. This is all dried out now, so I'm just going to quickly go around the outside edge of this, just with a sanding block, just to make sure there's no sharp edges there. So just going all the way around. Give that a nice smooth edge. That's better. Right, so I did notice there's a couple of little bubbles there. I've just got one there and one there. So I'm just going to smooth those over as well. Just round those off a bit. Not that you'll actually see them because the mirror's going to cover that up, but I'd rather do it so I know it's done. Right, there we go. That's better. So next I'm going to go in with some of the watercolor paints. This is just a cheap set that I got from Amazon. So I'm going to use blues to go with the serviette. So I think I'll go in with, let's do a bit of this dark one first. And I'm just going to go round some of the outside edge. What have I got on there? Let's get rid of that. And a bit down here. I'm just going to be putting this just in random places. I've got a bit of sponge. Let's see how that blends it out. Let's add a bit more water, I think. Drop of water on there. And then just blend that out. Lovely. And same again with this side here. Actually, the sponge seems to be leaving lines, so I don't think I'll use that. I'll just use the brush, I think, and just dab it. Darken that in places. And then I also want to take it round the sides as well. So a bit more of that blue and then just going around some of these edges and then dab that off. And I think we'll have, let's do a bit down this bottom corner as well, some down in there. And then we'll go in with a different blue. Let's do this one here and add a different shade going through there. And then maybe some down here as well. And same over this side, just smudging that in. And I think I'll take a paper towel actually and just dab that. And then blend that in a little bit more. And then dab that off. And then the same down this area here. And then dab that off. I think we could do with that being a bit darker down there. There we go. Blend some of that in. And I also want to take this bit here down the sides as well. So let's go in with that first blue that we had. And then just do some more down there. Blend that. And then that second blue, we'll just add some of that in there as well. And then dry that off. Right, so I think next let's go in with another blue. Let's use this one here, I think, and just do a little bit on these edges with this one. Just go in a bit there, and then the same round these other areas. Let's take that one up to the top, I think. And then blend that in. Let's just smudge it round a bit so it doesn't look so defined as blobs. There, I think that's looking okay. And I think we just need a bit more on this top section here now as well. So let's just put a little bit up there. And then dab that off. There we go. It's looking nice. Okay, so I think we're just going to leave this dry a bit now. Let's just put that bit there. Smudge that one in a bit more. There. So I'm just going to leave this dry and then we can move on to add in our flower. I've cut off one section of the serviette and I'm just going to separate those two layers off. This is only a 2-ply serviette. So we just want the top half with the image on it. And now I'm just going to go round with some water and just mark off the bits that I want to keep. And then tear that off just so it's not got like a definite straight line. So just going to do this all the way round and tear that off. So that will then go on that bottom section there. So I'm going to be using some of the Mod Podge. This is just the matte one, not the glossy one. And I'm going to add straight out the pot and just add the Mod Podge to the front here. How far does that need to go? Let's have a look. Let's just do all of that section there. I'm not worried about the paint blending or bleeding, so that's okay. Let's just make sure I cover all the areas that I want. Some down there. How far does that go up? Let's just put a little bit more up that top section there. And then I'm going to place my flower where I want it. I think I want it to be like that possibly. Or do I want that bit? No, I think like that. So I'm just going to place that on the top and then smooth that over. And then we're just going to go straight over the top again with some more of the Mod Podge and get that nicely sealed onto the base there. Just this bottom section to go, and this will dry clear so you won't see the glue. Just make sure I've gone down that bottom area, and then I'll just use a nail file to get that off once it's dry. So I'm just making sure I've got a nice coverage on there and get that sealed in. Right, okay, I think that will do. And I think I want another piece up in that corner there, and maybe another piece there as well. So let's do this bit first. So same again, I'm just going to add the Mod Podge straight over the top. Put some of that onto there. And then add that where I want it. So there. Smooth that down and then add another layer of the Mod Podge over the top. And I suppose I could have taken the image around the sides as well, but I think I want to leave the sides plain. So just going over that top bit there, and again once that's dry I'll use a nail file to get that off. And let's do this bit over this side now. So same again, some of the Mod Podge on there. And where do I want that to be? Maybe there, I think. And then Mod Podge straight over the top of that. Making sure I've got all those edges nicely covered. Right, okay, so we'll leave this to dry now, and then I'll see you back in a minute. This is all dry now. The Mod Podge, it doesn't take long to dry, so I'm just going to use a nail file now and just get rid of the excess bits of the serviette that we don't need on there. So that's that section done. Same again all around the rest of it. So I'll just quickly do this and then I'll see you back once this is all done. So that's how it's looking now. That's round the edges there, looking lovely. And I'm going to go in with some of the silver Pebeo gilding wax. I'm just going to use a brush, pop some on my brush, and then get the majority of that off. And then I'm just going to go round these edges. Just add in a bit of silver to the edge there. So some around that top bit. And while I'm doing this, I'll just mention that today's video is part of the Friendship Express chain that was organised by myself and Susie from Serendipity Resin Creations, Amy from Resonating Art by Amy Am, and Tina from Pour Resin with Love. So there will be a playlist in my description box, and you can feel free to check that out with all the other lovely makes that have been made for the chain. Right, so I think I just want a slightly bit more on that edge there. That would do, I think, just to give it a little bit of an aged look. So that's how it's looking with the silver added. Pretty. Right, so next I want to top coat this with UV. So I'm going to be using the Resiners UV resin, and I'm just going to put a generous amount all over the top of this. I probably could have used normal epoxy resin, but I'll use this for speed. Get a generous helping of that on there, enough that I can spread over the whole of that front section. And then I'm just going to take a dotting tool and then just work that to the edges. So just flicking it over the edge, and then it'll bounce back and hopefully not dribble down the sides. So I'm just going to do this all the way around. That's all nicely covered now, so I'm just going to take a torch and then just pop any bubbles that might be there. I think there was just a couple down the bottom there, but just go over all of it just to make sure. And then I'm going to cure that for a couple of minutes under the UV lamp. This is all cured now, so that's how it's looking with its top coat of UV resin. Lovely. And I'm just going to use some of the Clark's Stone and Concrete wax to seal in the rest of it. So I'm just going to go all around the sides and around the back with this. So I'll just quickly do this. So I'm going to rub it on and then buff it off. So now this is all sealed, just need to put the mirror in. I've just popped a pair of gloves on, just so that I don't get my mucky fingers all over the mirror. And then that just slides into there. So thank you ever so much for watching my video today, and stay tuned for the pictures at the end. And I'll see you all in the next one. Bye for now.